Mathematics is a language.
Hey, finally, Muhammad Hijab is going to explain that tautology is actually how we can justify God existing as he is, a triune being, Father, Son, and Spirit. Check it out.
Yeah. Mathematics is a language, and it's actually it's a tautology. So tautology is when you say the same thing twice. 2 plus 2 is an expression of 4. So the equal sign in mathematics shows that 2 plus 2 is equivalent to 4. Do you get it? So it's like, say, a tautology, if I'm saying it's raining, I'm saying the same thing twice. It's always true. So because in logic, a tautology is always true, anything with an equal sign in mathematics is also always true.
Exactly. So we could say God is one essence in 3 persons. He is 3 persons, one essence. That's tautology. It's saying the same thing because God can identify himself as he is. And that's one of the fundamental laws of logic, the law of self-identity. So using tautology, we can accept that God identifies himself with who he is, that he is one essence in 3 persons. There's a plurality in his oneness. So God is one essence, 3 persons, one essence. Tautology allows us to coherently accept that this is logical, and because it's who he identifies himself to be, he does not contradict himself if that is who he is, which is the second foundational law of logic, the law of non-contradiction. You can't have a contradiction. So God being one essence in 3 persons, it's not a contradiction because it's exactly who God identifies himself to be. And the concept of tautology affirms that that's exactly who God is because that's how God identifies himself with. Thank you, Muhammad Hijab, for demonstrating that the Trinity is not only logical, it's coherent, and really it's the only explanation that not only aligns with the revelation of scriptures, but it actually fits the definition of what God would be like. He is transcendent, unlike anything on earth. There's no other definition or description of God in any other religion that is transcendent, where there's nothing you can compare him to. All you can do is take human concepts of tautology, logic, self-identity, and non-contradiction and try to come to a definition of who he is. And by the way, human concepts that we've developed, the categories of essence and being, when they fall short of the reality of who God is, we can just draw back to, okay, our epistemology or knowledge is based on the fact that God tells us who he is, and we accept that. And tautology is one of the key principles that help us to accept that God is exactly who he says he is. So again, thank you, Muhammad Hijab, for demonstrating the logical coherence of the Trinity and why the Trinity is actually the only concept that fits the category of a transcendent God who is like anything in creation.